Shyu. I call myself a filmmaker because that is what I do. I make films, I write, I direct, and I produce. I've done it all. And I'm here to teach you everything about filmmaking in the next 8 courses. In these 8 courses, you will learn everything about filmmaking, from writing, directing, producing, and editing. So are you ready to get into the matrix of movie making? Well, let's go. Wow, that was fun, right? Okay, so before we begin, let me introduce you a little bit about myself. I started directing after I graduated from film school master program in my 20s. I started directing TV commercials, and then I moved on to screenwriting, and eventually I directed my first movie before I was 30. I direct a lot of music videos, commercials, documentaries, feature films, and I won a lot of awards in TV commercials, screenwriting, and the movies. And hopefully I can inspire you and help you make your first film. I learned filmmaking when I was in high school. I made my first film when I was 15 years old. I screened it to an audience of parents. It gave me such a joy that I was able to make people feel emotional about what I think it's a very human experience to be able to connect with your audience, to connect with the others. That sense of connection is what makes filmmaking experience so exciting and fun. It is why I make films. So I want you to understand, filmmaking is fun. It's hard work, but it's also fun. The fun part is the rewarding part. Is when the audience watch your film, when you see your finished product and affect people emotionally. That is the fun part. Okay, so remember that. So today, I would like to teach you the most important thing about filmmaking, and it's the first step of the filmmaking. That is the story.
You know, there's a story of how body shots can bring dead souls alive.
Something bad is about to happen.
What the hell are we doing on the boat with the Grim Reaper?
Now everything starts with the story. So the fundamental structure of your story is very important. And it is important for you to understand this fundamental structure. And there are 3 parts to this fundamental structure. It's very simple. It's beginning, middle, and end. Simple, right? So in filmmaking, we call this Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3. Act 1 is the beginning, Act 2 is the middle, Act 3 is the end. This foundation is what you lay down when you build a tall, high skyscraper. It's the bottom foundation. Without this foundation, your high skyscraper is gonna fall. Okay? So you gotta lay this part down. So it's very important to get this foundation right. And it's very simple. Act 1, beginning. Act 2, middle. Act 3, the end. Keep it simple, because the interesting part is in the details. And we'll talk about those details later. So no matter what kind of film you're making, a short film that's 3 minutes long, or 3-hour long feature film, or 1-hour episode, or half an hour episode, the story structure is always the same, beginning, middle, and end. You know, the short film, the 3-act is obviously very short, and the long film, the 3-act is obviously very long and complicated. No matter what the time is, the structure is always the same. I'll make it simple for you. Beginning is what happened with the story, okay? Middle is who the story happened to, okay? How did it affect? Who did it affect? That's the middle. And the end is how did it change the person that it affected to, okay? Is how did it change this person by the end? How did this story change this person? That's the end, okay? And I'll explain more detail later. So as you know, there's a textbook to these 8 courses. I want you to look into the first section of the workbook. It explains very detailed about the 3-act structure. So please look at that part so you will have a deeper understanding about the 3 acts. So today we are going to watch a short film together, and I'm going to have you fill out the section in the workbook that's about 3 acts. So in the workbook, you fill out where you think part 1 starts in the film, and part 2 middle, where you think that's, and not have the bow leave her. And the 3rd act is how did it change the person that it affected to? How did this story change this person? That's the end. Is her son comes back from college and we realize, oh, the meaning of the bow is really her son leaving her, and she was maybe too bossy before, maybe because she rather eat the bow, eat her son up, and then having her son leave her. So in the end, you know, her son and her eating together. Today we just have a general look, and the next few courses I will continue to talk about story, and I will go into more details about Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. But there are a lot more components to make you understand about the story structure. In the workbook, it will have explanation of everything I talk about, and it will have more details of what I talk about. So you will have a deeper understanding about everything we went through in this course. You can get the book on Amazon. The practice in the book will really help your understanding of filmmaking, so you can get the full benefit of this class. So that's it for the first course. I'm looking forward to help a lot of you become a good filmmaker, and by end of this 8 course, I have confidence you will become a good filmmaker. So we'll see you at the next course.